In 2023, a survey revealed that 76% of dog owners let their pups sleep in bed with them at night. Maybe you're one of them, and who can blame you if you are? But why do dogs really want to settle down next to their owners? The real reasons go beyond the comforts of soft pillows. So let's look at 10 different reasons why your dog wants to sleep next to you. And does it mean unlove if they don't? Do they sleep by your head or at your feet? We'll also look at the 7 different positions that your dog might sleep in and what they mean. Stay tuned till the end, and before you dive in under covers, subscribe and join our channel for more videos about your furry pal. Who doesn't get a rush of joy when their dog decides to join them in bed? Who can resist the urge to pet and cuddle with them once they're up there? Look at those big brown eyes and that fluffy little face. They're just irresistible. For some dogs, that's exactly what they're going for. When your dog gets into bed with you and you start petting them, they're likely to interpret that as a reward for getting into the bed. As we all know from our dog training efforts, most dogs respond very well to praise and rewards. Once your dog has received canine kudos for getting into bed with you a few times, you've essentially trained them to do it every night. While having their favorite human around is certainly helpful, there's one other thing that is crucial to ensuring that your dog remains unstressed. Routine. Dogs love routine. They have a surprisingly good sense of time for a species that never invented the clock, and having an idea of exactly what is going to happen and when it's going to happen is key to helping your dog feel anchored in the weird human world around them. If your dog started sleeping in bed with you as a puppy, then by the time they became an adult, getting into your bed at night had likely become a key part of their bedtime routine. Old habits die hard. Even though they might now take up significantly more space in the bed than they did when they were a baby, they still need to get their nightly cuddle before they can settle down for the night. Dogs are very scent-oriented creatures, much more so than humans. They depend on their super sniffers to understand the world around them, the same way that we depend on our eyes, and they often take comfort in having the scent of their human near them. This is why some dogs will steal items that belong to their humans and sniff on them while they snooze. But what carries your scent even better than a pilfered pen or pair of your socks? You. By sleeping next to you, your dog is able to smell your soothing, relaxing scent all through the night, giving them a deeper, calmer sleep. When the first human looked at a prehistoric wolf and decided that behind that scary, toothy exterior was a sweet little puppy who just wanted to be loved, one of the first tasks that they trained their new best friend to do was guard. Even the soppiest family pet can potentially become a ball of fangs and fur if they think that their human family is being threatened. Your dog may choose to sleep in bed with you because they recognize that you are more vulnerable when you're asleep, and have decided that you need your own personal watchdog to look out for you. On the other hand, sometimes you aren't the one your dog thinks is in need of protection. It's easy to forget that dogs live in a confusing world. A lot of the ordinary, everyday things that we take for granted, such as thunderstorms or loud car noises, are unknowable horrors from your dog's perspective. Your dog relies on you to be their one constant, to help the world make sense. When the time comes for them to go to sleep, the most vulnerable part of their day, it's natural that they would want their big, strong protector by their side to keep them safe. We mentioned before that dogs live in a confusing world. Sometimes, however, a dog's desire to stay close to their owner can become a bit unhealthy. If you find that your dog insists on staying close to you, not only when it's time to go to bed, but also when it's time to get up, if you haven't been able to go to the bathroom on your own for years, then you probably have a Velcro dog. Velcro dog syndrome is so called because the affected dogs stick to their humans like, well, Velcro. If they can't be near their humans, even if they're only a room apart, they experience intense separation anxiety and may start barking, whining, tearing up the furniture, or frantically trying to escape the room they're in. Velcro syndrome is most common in dogs who were taken from their mothers at too young an age, dogs who have experienced some kind of past trauma, and dogs who have been bred for jobs that require close human contact, such as lapdogs and sheepdogs. Then again, whatever the breed, one of the simplest reasons why a dog might lay an eye on your bed is because it's likely a lot more comfy than theirs. To be clear, we're not accusing you of skimping when it comes to your pup's creature comforts. Doggy beds are delightful, but they probably don't come with a thick duvet, multiple pillows, and orthopedic mattress. Human beds are soft, warm, and come with their own living hot water bottle in the form of you. Some dogs might also prefer to sleep with their head on a pillow, an option that generally isn't taken into account when designing dog beds. Flat-faced breeds like pugs and bulldogs often have difficulty breathing at night. These dogs may find it easier to sleep with their heads elevated because it takes the pressure off their airways. You ever seen a group of dogs sleeping in a puppy pile? This is another instinct from their wolfy past. The more of you there are sleeping near each other, the more ears there are to listen out for danger. Not to mention, wolves are generally native to cooler climates, and sleeping in a big fluffy pile was how our pups dealt with that issue before the invention of radiators, duvets, and warm human cuddles. Your domestic dog likely sees you as one of their pack members, and so they naturally feel an instinctive urge to sleep alongside you. And there's more. One of the major differences between human beds and dog beds is that human beds tend to be higher off the ground. The average human is, after all, higher off the ground than the average dog. But your dog might not see it that way. From their perspective, your nice high-up mattress isn't just a bed, it's a lookout post. Sleeping up high allows your dog to see much further than they would on the ground. Even though, in your room, that probably just means that they get a slightly better view of the wallpaper. If there's a chance that you or your partner could be pregnant, and your dog suddenly starts clambering into your bed and acting extra clingy, then it might be time to take a test. Pregnancy causes hormonal changes in the body, which our dogs can smell. As pack animals, dogs often have an instinctive urge to help out other pack members who are pregnant or nursing, and your dog may be getting into bed with you because they want to offer you some kind of emotional support. Another possibility is that you could be ill. Dogs are famously good at detecting illness, which is why medic alert dogs are such a useful resource for people with chronic health conditions. Just as with pregnancy, if a dog detects that a member of their pack is feeling sick or injured, they're likely to want to try and do whatever they can to help you out. Now for the furry cherry on top. In which spot exactly does your dog sleep? Once your dog is in the bed, they then have to choose where to curl up. Do they sleep by your head or at your feet? Do they lean against your side or settle on top of you? We're now going to look at the 7 different positions that your dog might sleep in and what they mean. Sleeping at the foot of your bed gives your dog access to 2 important things. Firstly, the door. Sleeping at the foot of your bed puts the dog closer to the door and makes sure that they will be the first one to catch sight of any intruders. Secondly, your feet. Dogs love feet. Feet are sweaty. Your sweat contains traces of pheromones, which can tell your dog all sorts of information about you, including your emotional state and your physical health. To your pup, getting a whiff of your feet after a long day is like reading your Facebook profile. Another thing that sweat contains is salt. Tasty, tasty salt. As gross as it might seem to us, many dogs have no qualms about licking the salt off their human's toes. But what about your dog's butt facing you? This might feel like an insult, but it's anything but, pun not intended. Your dog's butt contains scent glands that release a pheromone scent, much like the one your dog smells in your sweat. When your dog shows you their butt, they're trying to give you a chance to learn information about them. The same information that 2 dogs will exchange when they sniff each other's butts in greeting. Showing you their butt also involves the dog turning their back on you, adding an extra layer of vulnerability to their already vulnerable position of being unconscious. All in all, a dog who sleeps in this position is letting their human know that they trust them completely. This is another position that your dog will only sleep in if you have their complete trust. Not only does it involve turning their back on you, but it also exposes their tummy to attack. A dog's tummy is one of the most vulnerable parts of their body, as it is where all their vital organs are. In a fight, another dog would likely try to target your dog's belly. As a result, nervous dogs will usually try to position themselves, when sleeping and when awake, so that their belly is shielded by either the floor, if they're lying flat, or their own body, if they're curled in a ball. The dog who sleeps with their back pressed against your back is sacrificing their ability to do that, because it means that they have a better chance of seeing any predators who try to sneak up behind you. In return, they're trusting you to do the same for them. They're literally letting you know that they trust you to watch their back. Spooning is when two people, or one person and dog, each lie on their sides next to each other, so that one of them, the little spoon, is shielded by the other, the big spoon. Since the decision as to who gets to be which spoon is generally based on height, chances are you're going to end up being the big spoon. Unless you're unusually short, that is, and your dog happens to be a Great Dane or Irish Wolfhound. Spooning your dog provides them with a sense of security and safety. Not only do they have the comfort of being shielded by your body, but the position puts their head close to your chest, allowing them to hear your heartbeat. Scientists have found that when dogs and their owners sleep next to each other, their hearts will often start to beat in sync. This demonstrates the deep, almost spiritual bond that exists between humans and their dogs, and your dog will be calmed by the reminder of it. A dog who sleeps next to their human's head wants to be as close to them as they possibly can be, and is willing to trade away a lot of comfort to get that closeness. Sleeping next to your head, especially if they're on your pillow, gives your dog less room to freely move around than they would likely have in any other position. It also means that their view of the rest of the room is probably going to be significantly curtailed because your head will be blocking their vision. By sleeping next to your head, your dog is, in their mind, placing their personal safety entirely in your hands. You will have to be the one to alert them if there is danger. You will have to be the one to fight off any attacker first. It's a sign of great trust and affection, something that may comfort you next time you wake up to a face full of dog breath. Apart from anything else, a dog who is sleeping on top of their human is much less likely to be disturbed by said human getting up and trying to leave the bed in the middle of the night. Even if the human can get to their feet with a dog on their chest, the dog owner's code will, of course, prevent any true dog parent from rising until their pup is properly rested. But that's not the only reason why dogs often like to sleep lying on top of their humans. Just like with spooning, this position allows the dog to hear their human's heartbeat and keep an eye on their breathing, something that most dogs find exceedingly comforting. Plus, humans are very warm. Lying on top of a human ensures that all that nice toasty body heat is going straight to the dog's belly and warming up their core. What's even better is that there's a kind of feedback loop generated here. The warmer the human gets, the warmer the dog sleeping on top of them will be. And yep, the other way around. The warmer the dog sleeping on top of them gets, the warmer the human will be. On a cold winter's day, nothing can be cozier than going to sleep under a nice thick duvet, and your dog no doubt agrees. Dogs don't only like to sleep under the covers because it's warm, however. Under the covers is also dark, enclosed and dry, reminiscent of the dens and caves that your dog's wolf ancestors would have sought out to sleep in. Not to mention, it allows them to be completely surrounded by your scent. Plus, just like with humans, the weight of the duvet gently presses down on your dog's body with a calming effect. This is so comforting to them that they might even start sleeping in your bed, even when you're not in it. But what if it's bedtime and you're all set to snuggle up with your pup, only to find that they're not interested in joining you? Ouch, right? It's easy to feel a bit rejected when your dog chooses the cool floor over your warm bed, but don't take it personally. There could be a lot of reasons why your dog isn't cozying up next to you, and most of them have nothing to do with how much they love you. First off, dogs have their own preferences when it comes to sleep, just like we do. Maybe your bed is too soft, too warm, or just not the right fit for them. Some dogs like to spread out and have their own space, and your bed might feel a little too cramped for their liking. Or maybe they found a sweet spot elsewhere in the house that's cooler, quieter, or just more to their taste. Dogs are all about comfort, and sometimes that means sleeping solo. On the flip side, not sleeping with you might actually be a sign that your dog feels super secure. If they're confident and comfortable enough to sleep on their own, it means they trust that you're nearby and everything is okay. So, while it might not be the snuggle fest you were hoping for, it's still a good sign that your pup is feeling safe and content. And hey, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? You can always look forward to some extra cuddles when they're ready to join you again. How easily could you recognize if something was upsetting your dog? Dogs are famously stoical creatures. They want us to be happy and can deliberately hide their hurt feelings so as to avoid upsetting us. So, how can you tell if your dog is feeling down? From how they eat, to how they stand, to how they look at you, will give you 10 signs that you're unintentionally hurting your furry friend.